Yeah, we'll move on. And so our next category is most overrated. And this is again film or series or, game or whatever. And this is something that's received a lot of praise, maybe from audiences and critics, and we didn't feel the same. Again, similar to most disappointing. It's not, maybe we don't think these things are terrible.
Yeah.
We just feel like they are being revered way beyond what they should be.
Yeah, their actual merits.
Yeah. Do you want to start us off with one of your most overrated?
Yeah, sure. Most overrated TV show. There's been so many that people were talking up, and then we watched them, or I watched them and I was like, okay, this is not as great as anyone is saying. But one that has to be mentioned, because we've talked about it for 2 months straight on our channel, is Alien Earth.
I don't think I'll ever stop talking about this.
Alien Earth, this could have also gone into worst, but I think it has a few redeeming qualities here and there that kind of like...
Shut your mouth.
It puts it above some of the worst stuff, even though it's pretty bad. It's really kind of really bad. It was very overrated because when we were watching it and we were kind of like keeping up with the commentary around the show, like the articles that they're being written, the reviews that were posted to YouTube, and even just like the comments under some of our videos, people were praising the show like it was some, profound and revelatory exploration of humanity and like a great sci-fi adventure. And honestly,
praising it on a story level, a character level, like a thematic level, not just like, oh yeah, it looks nice and it looks like an alien and great practical effects and all this shit, because we know people get fooled by that stuff all the time. But no, people, like you said, were praising the story and everything about this, and we're talking about how aliens back, and oh my god,
it's not
what
back.
Were they watching?
Yeah, we felt like we were not watching the same show as these people, like the way they were praising some of the choices and the way they were kind of like inferring meaning, when clearly, again, talking about showrunners who don't really pay that much close attention to what they're making. We were talking about the Duffer Brothers not knowing how to end their story, and Noah Hawley feels kind of like he didn't really care that much about the established lore and what could be done with that lore in interesting ways, and just created this new thing because he was interested in exploring, in a very shallow way, in my opinion, this concept of, like if you are an artificial intelligence, how human can you be, and what humanity means, like these are interesting questions, but I don't feel like the show answers them in any engaging way, in any original way.
It would rather put a child's mind into a human android's body and have them discuss like sexual topics all the time. And it's like, okay, well that's all Holly. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but fucking hey,
weirdo.
Yeah. To be honest, the more time that goes on, the more I hate Alien.
Okay.
And the more like I speak to more people about it and tell them about what happened in it, and like especially people who didn't watch it, who like the Alien films, and I'll tell them what happens, they'll be like, you're shitting me. There's not kids running around like a xenomorph ridden ship going, ooh, this is yucky. And I'll be like, yeah, no, that happens. That is that's in the story.
And it is yucky. It is yucky that we've witnessed that.
Yeah. And, I fucking love Timothy Olyphant, and what they did to my boy, I will never forgive. Not that he gets done incredibly dirty, but just the fact that he's in something so shit annoys me.
Yeah, because his character actually had a lot of potential, and the way he's introduced, that was really, like, you remember how hyped, well, not hyped, but like positive we were about the first episode.
Whoa, settle down. Don't you put that hurt on me, Tommy.
There were a few red flags, but...
Yeah, no, the first episode is the best episode of them all, for sure.
Yeah.
And like we said, there's some great practical effects and production design and the music and stuff like that. Like it almost fooled us, but luckily we saw through.
Yeah, mostly you. I was fooled. I was fooled at the beginning.
Yeah, no, fair. It could quite easily go into most disappointing. For me, if it's a different category, which I'm sure I've made very obvious.
Yeah.
But one of my most overrated, I suppose if you've started with a series, I'll go for a series too. I feel maybe a bit unfair choosing this one, and it's not, I'm not going to put too much eggs in this basket, basket because I didn't finish it because I stopped enjoying it, obviously. The Studio, the Seth Rogen show.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things. You didn't like it?
Yeah, I know. I can kind of understand why you've heard good things. Like the first episode was good. You have a lot of cameos from actors and directors who are playing themselves, or like, you know, playing like this is the end, like heightened versions of themselves. Like Martin Scorsese's like a massive dick in the second episode or something, and like
Nice.
Seth Rogen has to screw him over. And yeah, it started off quite good, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I think that as it went on, all the characters are just like buffoons, and everybody's silly and ridiculous. And Seth Rogen's this like top exec of this Hollywood studio, and like the subject matter they are doing is funny. It's like, you know, he gets forced. He wants to make this like epic gangster movie or whatever with Martin Scorsese, and then his boss Bryan Cranston is like, no, that's not what we do. We're making a Kool-Aid movie. Is that? And we're gonna make like a, you know, it's all about products and brands and Barbie and stuff like that. And I think he ropes Martin Scorsese into directing the Kool-Aid movie without him realizing, or something like that. Like stuff like that's really funny and it's good, but it's like Seth Rogen just is insufferable. There's an episode, I think it's kind of at the midway point in the season, they do a whole oneer. It's like the whole episode is a oneer.
Wow.
And he goes on set to this movie that she's the actress from Dawn of the Dead. I can't remember her name, but she's making a movie, and I think she's become a director since.
All right.
So she's kind of playing herself. And Seth Rogen's on set to like supervise, and it's all this oneer, and he is just walking around making loads of noise, like tripping over things like a fucking clown and ruining the oneer every single time. And it's just like, this is not funny, it's silly, and it's just like, how has this guy got his job? He would be sacked immediately, like after this.
I mean,
day
isn't it a bit of a satire, kind of like heightened situation, or like
it is a satire, but
anyway?
for me it got ridiculous. And I think the satire works well with the stuff like I was saying with like the Kool-Aid movie adaptation and stuff like that. Like that's good satire. But having Seth Rogen bumble around a set, like tripping over things and making noise and farting, it's just like, I don't know.
That show? Okay.
It just and like you said, people are proper praising it. Like if you look at a lot of lists, it's like in the top 5 like shows of the year, and I just didn't think it was very good. I thought the humor's really like juvenile in it, like kind of like a lot of like Seth Rogen's like more modern work. It's it's not like that intelligently written, I don't think, or made.
All right.
It looks good though. It looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, most Apple shows look really good. I guess I'll check it out. I'm curious to watch it. I've heard about the show in relation to a trailer that recently came out. I know it's a little bit of an off topic, but I wanted to know, have you seen the trailer for the new Animal Farm animated movie that they're making? It's like based on
I haven't, no.
It's based on the George Orwell novella, you know, like famous book about bad things with animals. And Seth Rogen is one of the main characters, like one of the pigs, you know, Napoleon, I think is his name, in the book, and he plays that character. But like this trailer came out, it's Andy Serkis directing it, which is like a guy who I hugely respect, but I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Because how can this be the adaptation of George Orwell's Animal Farm? This looks like the Minions, or like The Secret Life of Pets. It's awful, it's horrible. And going back to, you know, the studio is about Hollywood elite making everything about a product or a brand and not really caring about art. And then the same guy who's having that show is one of the main characters in this fucking animated movie that is doing exactly that, like making a commodity out of a piece of art. I don't know, like, again, like I was watching this and I was like, this is either like a huge troll, and this trailer was made to kind of like lure people into the cinema to watch like the new fucking animated movie, and then it's gonna traumatize everyone and the kids, and like, you know, tell you all like the real story of Animal Farm. But like I was like, how is this being made? Why? I don't know. This could be one of the worst things to come out of 2026. I don't know what to think.
We'll see. We'll keep your eyes peeled for that one.
Yeah.
Have you got another one for most overrated?
I do. This is a hot take. This is a very hot take, and I don't think you're gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I say what I want, Tyler. And I think one of the most overrated movies of 2025 was Weapons.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I kind of know what you mean. And when we were formulating this list, I said to you off the bat, it's quite hard to separate like the best movies of this year, because everything's like, or everything that was really good was, you know, kind of around that like 7 to 8 barrier,
Yeah.
and like nothing, there wasn't something exceptional. I thought nothing like that absolutely blew me away last year. And a lot of people are saying Weapons is the best film of the year. And is that why you're saying it's overrated?
Yeah, like as we mentioned, these are not bad shows or movies, right? These are just stuff that we think maybe is getting a little bit too much praise for what they well, I mean, Alien Earth is a bad show, but like, you know, it was overrated in the sense that everyone was talking glowingly about it, and it's bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Weapons is a good movie. It was a really fun horror film, very entertaining. I was hooked throughout, and I really actually liked Twist, which was very contentious. But honestly, like the way people are talking about it, the best horror movie of the year, the best movie of the year, I don't think so. I thought the structure was a bit weird in the sense that it has these chapters dedicated to different characters, and the way the story develops, I felt like it was building up to something that doesn't really end up mattering all that much. Like some characters have a lot of screen time and then they just disappear from the movie, or they have a very abrupt end. And I thought, you know, some of it was handled a bit clunkily in my opinion.
Yeah.
And again, that twist, if you haven't seen Weapons, I'm not gonna go into specifics about the twist, but like a lot of what this movie is, if you're gonna like it or not, hinges on how much you're gonna enjoy the explanation for the mystery of the movie, which is all these kids have disappeared on the same night, on the same time, except one kid. They're pinning this on this young teacher, and this huge mystery. This town is devastated by this loss, and these different characters are investigating to find out what happened to these kids. And the revelation is fun, and I guess once you've, you know, accepted that that's the resolution to that mystery, you can have a lot of fun in seeing how it develops. But I also feel like, for once, I would have liked a different explanation more, probably. And two, the way they explain it, they don't go too in depth about how it works and who this character is and where it comes from, where
Yeah.
they come from.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe if I had a few more answers, maybe I would have enjoyed the movie more. But I feel like so much of it is left to the viewer's interpretation, and that's not necessarily a good thing in this specific case.
Yeah, that's fair. I somewhat agree with a lot of what you've said, to be fair. Like, and I think when we did our review on Weapons, we did speak about how, you know, once the mystery is resolved, the tension isn't there as much. And I personally would have liked to have seen a bit of an escalation of that. We get the reveal that it's a witch, but then later on we get a reveal that actually, you know, that's not her true form, and we see that she's wearing like this old lady as a skin suit or something, and there's something else like to her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we knew that, you know, I think Zach Krieger had mentioned that one of the chapters was going to be in the past, like way back in hundreds of years ago during like the Salem witch trials with the witch as a character. And I was like, yeah, you know, maybe that could have been good, or maybe you might have over-explained the mystery too much if you had done that. But I do agree with your criticisms, but I still loved it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like the horror of it wasn't my favorite thing about Weapons.
No. Yeah.
I personally love the structure, and I love the characters, love the pacing of it. Just the chapter with the crackhead and what's his face, the guy, the police officer.
Alden.
Yeah, I just love that. Like that's like one of my favorite sections of a movie of all the year, for sure.
I really enjoyed that too. But then Alden Ehrenreich has this very unceremonious end. And I'm like, what was the point of his character if he's just gonna end up this way? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I was expecting the wrong thing. And it's a hard balance to strike. It's just, I feel like the way, you know, the movie was divided into chapters, and these chapters were dedicated to characters, and then it doesn't really ramp up. Like the most interesting to me was the one with the kid. You know, like the chapter about the kid.
That was good. Yeah. But that is also when we get a lot of the kind of plot revelations that it really stretches the believability, because we see the scene where she sends all the kids out like for an hour and then they come back. It's just like, you didn't need to show us that. Or, well, but you kind of did need an explanation for why they're not investigating this creepy fucking house when all these people are going missing. But I do agree with you, to be fair. But I think I enjoyed it a lot more than yourself.
It's still a good movie, but like if you had to ask me, like we had so many great horror movies this year. Well, last year together was better than Weapons, in my opinion. Sinners was better than Weapons. Frankenstein, does it count? I don't know, but I enjoyed it more than Weapons.
Gothic horror, yeah.
Bring Her Back was my horror of the year. Weapons was fun and was well made, and I like Zach Cregger. And he's doing a Resident Evil movie. Are you kidding me? I can't wait to watch that. I think he's a great director. But people saying this is one of the movies of the year or the best horror movie of the year, I'm sorry, I disagree.
Not as good as Barbarian, but I loved it. But what you were saying was a good segue to my other overrated pick, which is Sinners.
Okay.
Yeah, not a bad film, but just people, like I've seen so many interviews. Like I think there was one with Jesse Plemons sitting across from either Ryan Coogler or Michael B. Jordan, and they're like saying how they saved cinema, and they're like, honestly, like they're people are saying that how Sinners saved cinema, and there's hope again for movies now. Sinners is here, and I'm like, this is just kind of derivative of From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
And I would watch Dusk Till Dawn 1,000 times over again before I ever watch Sinners again. There's aspects of Sinners I really enjoyed. I think, again, acting's really good, some really good cinematography. The sequence where we get like the ghosts of dancing past, I thought that was like really silly. People are like, that's the best scene in the whole movie, and I'm like, having like a guy like dressed like DJ Jazzy Jeff like breakdancing in the middle of a room where it's like, old era, and there's all these mix of different eras of dancing. I just was like, this just looks silly to me. It didn't do it, and I get what they're trying to do, and I like the themes of the film, but I just didn't. It really just like was so just underwhelming for me. And like Jack O'Connell I usually love him in most things he's in, and he's good in this for sure. He's just probably not in it enough, and you don't see him affect the story enough until maybe too later on. And I just thought this was just an okay film.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. I feel like when actors and like people within the industry talk about Sinners so glowingly is partly because of the deal that Ryan Coogler managed to get for this movie. Like he's gonna get the rights back for it, like it's gonna be his movie, and that's something that the industry doesn't really do that much, and they were kind of like fighting against it, like because he wanted the movie to be his and to kind of like do with it what he wanted, and that kind of like opened the door for a bunch of other filmmakers to claim ownership over their movies. And I think that's part of the conversation with Sinners and how important it was for this year, because it's a risky movie in terms of like the subject matter.
I know it made a lot of money as well, so obviously I think that was part of it too.
I really enjoyed it when it came out. I haven't seen it again yet, but I'm looking forward to do so. I thought the central performance of double Michael B. Jordan was fantastic. I really loved that sequence that you mentioned about like the power of music and like how this connects us through generations and centuries. The theme of segregation and racism and legacy. It's a good movie. It's a genre movie about vampires that gets really schlocky and fun in the second half. I agree with you that Josh O'Connor doesn't get enough screen time because he has a great presence, and that introduction sequence with him where he gets his followers is really cool, but then he doesn't really get to do anything up until the very end, and then he dies quite quickly. It's a good time, but maybe I agree with you that the level of praise it got was a bit overblown, but I still believe it's a really good movie.
Yeah. For me, not even close to being the best horror movie of the year, let alone like best film of the year that a lot of people are giving it. But hey, that's why film's great, because it appeals to different tastes, and that just clearly wasn't for me, and I'm surprised it wasn't, because like I fucking love From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, I remember we did the review. Well, I did the review and I spoke about it to you, and I was like, oh, I'm really curious for you to finally watch it because I think you're gonna really enjoy it. And it's surprising that you didn't love it as much, but I also understand your point. So I guess
Yeah, I think there's good stuff in it for sure. But yeah, just a bit overrated for me for sure. Did you have any more for this category?
no, I think Weapons seals the deal for me.
Weapons was your winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, for me, the studio wasn't great, but didn't receive the kind of praise that Sinners did. And yeah, like, I think maybe after speaking to you, I was like, right, Sinners is going to be fucking great. I'm going to love this. And I just didn't, unfortunately. So yeah, Sinners wins my most overrated film of 2025.
Nice.